Op sees that her neighbor has a picture of her own biological parents. I am not the Oop. Originally posted by you, Funny spend 480 in R, true off my chest on January 15, 2023. Trigger warning. Death. Child abandonment. Less than. Mood spoiler. Happy. Less than. Original post. 4 days ago, I think I met my long-lost sister. Growing up, I was told by my adoptive parents that I was adopted at 10 months old. They're always open about it. They framed up a picture of me and my parents and place it in my room so I would always remember them. They even track down their grave and take me there once every 2 years. We'll have a little picnic and they will ask me to share my achievements with my biological parents. They didn't change my last name to theirs and allowed me to decide whether I want to change it, which I did in my teens. I'm now 27F. I'm a nurse and I live on my own with my cat, Abu, and just a few hours away from my adoptive parents. I have a neighbor. Let's call her Anna. She's a marine biologist, married and has 3 kids. We often chat when we bump into each other in the hallway, or her kids will come over to my place to play with my cat. 4 days ago, I got a knock on my door and it was Anna. Turns out her nanny Mia on her at the last minute and is already late for a close friend's wedding, and was wondering if I can watch the kids for a couple of hours while they're gone. She asked me if I can watch them at her apartment instead since her youngest is sleeping. I grabbed my stuff and went over next door. We played dolls, played pretend and ordered food and watched a movie after that. So I told the kids to keep their toys before the food arrived, and while we were at it, I saw something that made my heart drop. I saw a picture of my parents. They look so much younger and it was a different picture from what I had. I asked Anna's kids if they knew who these people were. They told me they have no idea who it was. My curiosity grew more and more. I texted my adoptive parents if they knew I have any siblings. They told me they were not too certain, but in the adoption profile, it stated that I'm alone and without any siblings. A few hours later and Anna got home. I was inquisitive to know and I couldn't wait any longer. I asked Anna who are this young couple. Anna told me it was her parents and they died when she was 6. She was then raised by her aunt. I was shocked. I feel like throwing up. This can't be real. I have a sister. I went home and did some social engineering. I went on Facebook and Instagram to see what I can find. I found the profile of an old lady who I believe is the one that raised Anna. I see that she refers to Anna as her daughter, and I was looking at pictures and I found a rather similar picture to what my adoptive parents gave me, just without me in it. I called my adoptive parents, crying, telling them what I found. They drive for hours to come to me, and when I showed them, the 3 of us cried together. They told me that I should let her know. I don't know if I should because it seems like she doesn't know that I existed. Update. Posted in the comment section by Oop January 20th, 2023. I just remembered this when I saw my own post on TikTok. Thank you everyone for your kind words, and I really appreciate all the encouragement. I gathered myself and yes, I spoke to Anna. I invited her to my apartment, away from her kids, so the both of us can sit down and talk about it. I showed her the picture that I have. She's as confused as I am. I told her that we might be sisters. I could see the tears building up at the edge of her eyes. She told me she wants to be excused. She left my apartment and I thought that was it. For a while, there's so much of what ifs. What if she's a cousin? What if the baby in the photo is not me? What if there was a mixed up at the adoption home? A few minutes later, she knocked on my apartment door. She brought her laptop, the photo of her parents and her phone. We compared our pictures and yes, they're the same person. I showed my birth certificate and how I changed my last name during my teens as well as my adoption papers. I told her that I have a birthmark on the left side of my butt cheek. And yes, she remembered. We looked at each other and we started sobbing. She came to hug me and told me that at times she couldn't believe that I'm gone because she loves me so much. She told me how she thought I was dead and that broke her. She video called her aunt, the one that raised her. Let's call her Lucy. When Anna introduced me to Aunt Lucy, she looked horrified. She even asked if Anna got mixed up because she was pretty sure I was dead. We showed her my birth certificate and all the adoption documents, and once she saw there was evidence, she started crying and kept on apologizing. Aunt Lucy was hesitating at first, but we told her how we deserved to know the truth. So here goes the side of the story that I never knew. Firstly, my parents died in 2 separate accidents. My mom and I met with an accident first. I was fine, but my mom suffered multiple injuries, and when my father got to know, he rushed to the hospital to meet my mom, but he lost control of his car and crashed onto the road divider. Both died at the same hospital, just minutes apart. She was then told that I died too. My sister got sick shortly after my parents' death and couldn't attend the funeral. My parents were well-to-do. My dad was a marine biologist, just like Anna, and my mom was a general surgeon. We have an uncle. Let's call him John. So apparently, Aunt Lucy and Uncle John needed money. Aunt Lucy has lots of kids, hence she couldn't afford to raise both of us, while Uncle John and his wife were into traveling and could use some money for their adventures. I have no idea how, but somehow they managed to get whatever our parents have left us and split it into 2. I was given to Uncle John, but he must have placed me at an adoption home and then fled the country. All this while, Aunt Lucy knew about me and how I was placed at an adoption home. But she chooses to keep quiet. A few years after I was sent to the adoption home, Uncle John and his wife came back to the nursing to get me back. But they learned that I was already adopted. It's sad to learn his motives were to receive government reimbursement while I was under their foster care. I felt extremely lucky to be adopted by a family who loved, cared for, and raised me like their own. My adoptive parents were a mature couple when they adopted me. They tried to conceive for so many years, but it failed, and so it resulted in me being adopted, and they told me it was the best decision they'd ever made. Anna is not speaking to Aunt Lucy now. She told me how she felt betrayed and deceived, all these while denying a sibling love just for her own personal gain. She's even looking into taking legal action against both of them. Me and Anna embraced for a long time. There's a lot to catch up, and I'm excited that I'm an aunt to 3 beautiful kids. The feeling is foreign, but the feeling of being loved by a sibling is beyond words. Thank you all for your time. I reached out to Oop to see if she had any more updates for us, but marked as concluded since she hasn't posted anything else in months, and I don't expect to hear back from her. If I do, I'll edit this post with the new update. Somewhat strange circumstances, but a nice wholesome ending. She now has a sister and some nephews, nieces in her life, and some closure on her parents. Anyone else notice that first the aunt thought Op was dead, but then she knew where she was the whole time? Jeebus. So these relatives split the 2 of you up, and as soon as Uncle got the money he was supposed to use to bring up Op, he dumped her in an orphanage and took off. Then Aunt Lucy just pretended you didn't exist. I'm glad they went NC with her. I have a child, and I worry about who I would leave her with if something ever happened to me and my husband. All of my in-laws are older and my family is not really reliable. I'm glad there's a happy ending here though. This feels like a soap opera. First, swear a marine biologist is a career a child, teen wants when they grow up. I love dolphins, but there aren't that many of them in real life. Maybe I'm just being cynical, cause honestly, what are the odds? Edit. So many anecdotes about marine biologists in my notifs. Cold sweat smile. Right. I believe precisely none of this. I told her I have a mole on my left butt cheek and she remembered. LMAOOK. I told her that I have a birthmark on the left side of my butt cheek. Wow. Was this story written by a 12-year-old? My dad was a marine biologist. Just like Anna, and my mom was a general surgeon. In the year 1996? Firstly, my parents died in 2 separate accidents. When my father got to know, he rushed to the hospital to meet my mom. But he lost control of his car and crashed onto the road divider. Both died at the same hospital, just minutes apart. I think it was. Are the Hallmark movie writers on strike too? So the older sister remembered a birthmark on her little sister who she thought was dead for the past 26 years, huh? Okay, I guess. I have a friend who served her birth mom at a restaurant, and they ended up finding out they had been vacationing less than a mile apart for her whole life. If M. Night Shyamalan made a Hallmark Channel movie, this would be it. First post January 15th. Second post January 20th. Oops says, I just remembered this when I saw my own post on TikTok. That seems odd. Like you use Reddit enough to make a post but then instantly forget about it? 0 other posts or comments but complete detail about your life and all these family members. Including backstories on people generations older you've never met? Sure, Jan. I don't even care if it's true, I'm pleased for the outcome regardless. Okay. I just remembered this when I saw my own post on TikTok, yeah. Because when you're pretty sure you just found a long-lost sister you never knew existed, you just forget about that for 5 days. And what about Auntie who thought she was dead but knew she was alive, or maybe thought she was alive? How you going to expect me to keep the story straight if the narrator can't even do so? Yeah, Auntie would be dead to me and Uncle had best never come around again. What horrible family. To think these people trusted their siblings to help raise their kids, and this is what they did to them. Not to be the litigious sort, but I am an attorney. I should point out that legally you were entitled to that 1/2 from your parents because they died before you were adopted. You should contact a lawyer and check into your options. While the money may not all be there or at all, you will likely be able to get a judgment against those people who breached their duties to you. This is a serious civil and potentially criminal act by them before sending you out of adoption. Depending on the value of the share of the estate, we are talking about grand larceny level criminal activity. Statute of limitations issues are not likely a roadblock because you were not aware of the circumstances. At least in my state, the Saul runs when you found out, or reasonably should have known of the facts. I can't tell you more seriously that I think you have a case here from the little you put out. You deserve to know what your parents left you. You deserve to know what they left you and to have items of theirs. Aunt and uncle stole that from you. They were selfish and hid a serious lie from multiple people. The aunt let poor Anna believe her sister was dead. That's super messed up. Okay, so, the parents are younger in the photo. But suddenly, the photo has a baby in it. And Oop was adopted at 10 months. I can believe that stuff like this happens. But the math isn't mathing.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.